like heavy metal news. It don't give you the blues, sometimes it does. 192 is up for you now. You can enjoy it or you can love it, but either way you're gonna get some heavy metal news and some interesting takes on other topics too. Funk, it just drips out of me. You know, when you get funky, when you gotta get funky. You know, when it just hits you and you're like, I think something's happening. When the magic is happening, you got to go with it, man. You got to go with it. You got to go with that feeling. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. Episode 192 of Jive Talkin with Shane Diablo. I thank you for being here. This is an unknown podcast if you're here. No algorithms are sending you here. Nobody's talking about it. Soon, everyone will be talking about it. But right now, you're on the inside of something truly magic and fantastic. We have all sorts of stories. There's a few that we will not be talking about. KISS, they're getting the Kennedy Federal honor. You know when they get the rainbow sash? They get the rainbow sash, and it's got the emblem on it. It's the Kennedy Freedom Awards. KISS is going to get that. They get to sit in the balcony and watch other people perform their songs. You remember Led Zeppelin sitting there and watching Heart perform that amazing Stairway to Heaven. Right? And I think it even had John Bonham's son on the drums there, but just, they were wearing those rainbow sash. I'm sure that Pig will probably have it changed to, whatever. But lots of side little nugget news that we'll get into as we go along here. But we've got some big news, and you're seeing it right here. James Lomenzo, of course, Dirk Verburen, the main man himself, Dave Mustaine, and Montessori. What's his name? Montessori. This will be a final album and a farewell tour for Megadeth. We're going to get into the hard rockin' news right now. I did just get off my TikTok live 5K 70s, 80s, 90s hard rock TikTok live walk. And that's basically what you're seeing right now, except for I'm on a treadmill listening to music on random shuffle from the 70s, 80s, and 90s. And I go 5 miles. Well, I've gone 30 now because I've done 6 of them. And I go 5 miles. I like to call it 5K, but now that I'm thinking about it, that's a kilometer, 5K. So actually I'm going 5 miles. Isn't that more than a kilometer? Or is it less than a kilometer? Because maybe I'm actually going more. But I thank you all for being here. Let's get into that heavy metal news. James Lomenzo, what to do for this fine fellow at the end of this whole thing. They have Megadeth announcing it. They're saying farewell. And you know Dave Mustaine's saying that's it. He's going to tell you right here in this story, he's going to tell you, when I say farewell, I don't mean no more tours and no more tears and no more this and no more that. I mean I'm done. Because he's got a vineyard in Italy, and he wants to go pick and prune the flowers out there, so you get the best bottles of wine from the olives. Megadeth's Dave Mustaine has revealed, indeed, that the band's forthcoming album, due out earlier next year, and that's in the 20 and 26. We could call that year 0 in some cases. Will be the final Megadeth studio album of his career. Mustaine shared the announcement in a social post directly shared, Facebook, with his worldwide fan base and cyber army via his alter ego Vic Rattlehead Mustaine. Wait a minute. Vic Rattlehead has been Dave Mustaine all along. His alter ego, now there was a period there, guys. Vic Rattlehead ... period stop. Mustaine also revealed that the multi-platinum superstar band will embark on a global farewell tour kicking off in 2026. Also set for next year is a new memoir from Mr. Mustaine, details of which will be revealed in his coming months. And I beg you, Mr. David, now, please, Mr. David, please do the audiobook. Please. Because I love it when they read their own books. It's the best way to do it. It's like, have you ever listened to William Peter Blatty's audio version of The Exorcist? That is how you listen to a book. Because the way he reads that book and everything, he's the writer of that book, which they turned it into that classic horror movie from 1973. Listen to William Peter Blatty's audiobook version of The Exorcist, and you'll say, man. Another thing you'll say about that book, there's so much going on in that book that is not in that movie, I'll tell you. There's a whole side story with that housekeeper, with the housekeeper and the butler there. I don't mean to get in on David's time, but Mr. David, please do the audiobook version. Mustaine also revealed he will be doing the 2026. Also set for next year is a new memoir, and he'll be talking about that. There's so many musicians that have come to the end of their careers, whether it's accident or intentional, not international. Most of them don't get to go out on their own terms on top. And that's where I'm at in my life right now. I have traveled the world and I have made millions upon millions of fans. And the hardest part of all of it is saying goodbye to them. But he'll be able to say hello all the time to the fans in Italy because that's where he's got his vineyard. We can't wait to hear this album and see us. We can't wait for you to hear this album and see us on tour. If there was ever a perfect time for us to put out a new album, it's now. If there was ever a perfect time to tour the world, it's now. This is also a perfect time for us to tell you that it's our last studio album. We've made a lot of friends over the years, and I hope to see you all on the global farewell tour. And it'll do well, won't it? You gotta go see Megadeth the last time they play, don't you? Are you false metal if you don't show up to that show? I feel like kinda. If it's right down the street from you, if it's easily accessible, if you live, if you're like Shane, I'm all heavy metal all the time. I'm full metal. But I live 70 miles away. I can't drive there. I would understand that. But I'm just saying, if it's close enough, you got to go, right? Don't be mad. Don't be sad. Be happy for us all. Come celebrate with me these next few years. We have done something together that's truly wonderful. And will probably never happen again. We started a musical style, and he did. We started a revolution. We changed the guitar world and how it's played. And we changed the world. Scroll this up for you guys. The bands I played in have influenced the world. I love you all for it. Thank you for everything. I love you, Dave. I'll tell you, there's nothing more exciting to my little teen eyes than walking into the arena. And I had GA tickets, baby cakes. And I was walking in and I heard a chopper. The lights were off. And these little flashes of lights. And I said to myself, in my mind, I said to myself, did they really get a helicopter in here? But then I looked at the ceiling and I noticed that there wasn't one in there, but I had this chopper. These lights all of a sudden, Wake Up Dead kicks in. I saw Megadeth freaking on the So Far, So Good, So What tour, opening up for a young, 55-year-old Ronnie James Dio in the Dream Evil tour. And it was, I was saying to myself, my God, there is Dave Mustaine before my eyes. And I think he was wearing a white button-up shirt. Because I thought, that's strange. You know, it's always better if you're a thrasher like that, if you wear a t-shirt or something. But you know what? I will never try and tell anyone their style. They do it the way they need to do it, okay? Megadeth recently spent time in the studio putting the finishing touches on its upcoming LP. The effort will be released via Mustaine's Tradecraft imprint with the Frontier label group. Oh! So Dave Mustaine's label will be connected to Frontiers. That's all right. That's what they've done there is... No, I might not have all the details on this. So Mr. David or anyone else that's interested, please get in the comments and explain. But the way I would believe this to be is they have given Mr. Mustaine, Mr. David, a Tradecraft imprint that is part of or under the umbrella that is Frontier's label group. What that means is that Mustaine probably makes more money off the production and all of it, the whole end of it. But also it is that they use the distribution channels that Frontier's label group has at their availabilities. So that's what that is. So anywhere you find your Frontier label groups, you're going to find it, which is everywhere. So you're going to be able to find that. What's the name of his album, his imprint? Tradecraft imprint with front new imprint BLK2 black to black. Anyways, Megadeth is once again working with. I got this Beatles thing I want to show you. It's a clip of. When we get down the road a ways in this podcast. I want to show you just how rickety that shit was. 1964 in Washington D.C. I watched this 30-minute Beatles concert that I was just waiting for the whole stage and shit to fall over at any moment. But I don't think I can actually play any of that, or they'll steal they'll take all the revenue away from this entire podcast, because it's the Beatles. So I may have to do it picture by picture to give you an idea of what's going on in it. Megadeth is once again with Chris Rakestraw, a producer, mixer, and engineer who previously worked with Megadeth's last two albums, the 2022's The Sick, The Dying, and The Dead, and 2016's Dystopia. I also, side story to Megadeth here, I was watching this bit about Marty Friedman, and they were talking about the Risk record and how they really, it floundered. And I think it was Dave Ellefson's podcast or something. Maybe he was talking to Marty or somebody about it. But he was basically saying when the Risk record came out, they instantly knew when they were playing those songs live that people weren't digging it. So they were taking the songs out of the set list for that record. And the way I was assuming that this was going is that Marty Friedman really liked that album. Maybe he had a hand in writing a lot of it or something, but basically they were realizing that the songs weren't kicking the way that they should be kicking. And so Dave Mustaine had said after a show, well, we need to just go back to being a thrash band, being the way we are. And that's when Marty Friedman said, well, if we're going to do that, I'm out. You go and talk to Mr. David Ellefson about that, because I believe it came from him. Oh, it's Timu Montessori. Megadeth guitarist Timu Montessori joined the band 2 years ago. Montessori stepped in as replacement for the Brazilian-born guitarist Kiko Loureiro. Let's move on to this fine fellow who had a major hand in the Back to the Beginning show, Mr. Tom Morello. I wanted to hear from his voice. He wears sunglasses during day, in-house, He likes to, he's in his cubby hole, his man cave. And he's alone in there, but he's like, I must have sunglasses on at all times. And that's perfectly fine by me. And he's got was Bob Dylan arrested? He's got a t-shirt. I bet you Tom Morello's got at least 30 shirts with people being arrested on him. He's got everyone. It's like, there's a Jimi Hendrix one too? I want that, But Tom Morello had a huge hand and was a big part of the Back to the Beginning thing. He's a massive Black Sabbath fan. He's a massive metal fan. I've also told you that I watched Tom Morello's masterclass, and it was one of the best I'll even say it was better than the Metallica masterclass, Tom Morello's. I'll say that it was right up there with, that Oingo Boingo fella, man. His masterclass was great. And then Chef Ramsay. I mean, just watching that guy, I don't care if you are gay or straight. I really don't care. When you watch that guy dispatch and break down a chicken, a fish, a side of beef, you just go, I mean, if there was one person I had to make love to that it's a thing of beauty. When that guy speaks to someone's dish, like if you watch The Master Chef and he's speaking to your dish and he's going, you made the dough is just a little too thick for these frijoles or whatever it is. You believe him. And they always look at him and go, yeah, I know. It's like they got caught, right? Enough of that guy, the chef, Ramsay, and back to sunglasses here. We love Tom Morello. I mean, the guy is a wizard with that guitar. Very unconventional. And speaking of wizards with guitars, another story we'll be touching on here. We've got Uli Jon Roth coming up, and we're going to be talking about Eddie Van Halen's classic. And you damn well know this guitar. The one that's the minute you close your eyes and you're thinking of Eddie naked. What guitar is he holding? You know that one. That one is going up for auction. Tom Morello on Back to the Beginning. The goal was to make it the greatest day in history of heavy metal. And I think he damn did it, because it seemed to go off smashingly well. I mean, the timing of that thing was unparalleled, unprecedented in some cases. During a new appearance on Whiplash, the KLOAS radio station hosted by Full Metal Jackie. What's up, guys? She's good. Rage Against the Machine guitarist Tom Morello reflected on his role as the curator. That's a fancy word for what I was telling you he did, which was all the responsibilities. The curator of the Black Sabbath All-Star Back to the Beginning farewell show, which also marked Ozzy Osbourne's final performance. Asked what the biggest challenge, in quotes, was in putting the event together, Morello said, as transcribed, well, I suppose the biggest challenge was doing it justice, really. Heavy metal is the music that made me love music, and Black Sabbath invented heavy metal. So when I was tapped by Ozzy and his wife, the beautiful and beloved, his beloved manager, Sharon, to be the musical director, I took it really, really seriously and used all of my love of the genre and curatorial abilities to try to make something that was... The goal was very, very simple from the beginning, is to make it the greatest and most important day in the history of heavy metal. And all reports are that we did pretty well. And I'll tell you, this is a man that doesn't have ego. He wanted to curate or use his curatorial skills. Pardon me, I'm itching my eye. I've got something in it. That's what you do when you got something in your eyes, itch it. It's not what you should do, but it's what you do. But this guy doesn't have an ego. He used all of those curatorial abilities that he had accumulated over that time and put them with, he didn't need to have Tom Morello's Back to the Beginning. He was just there. There's people out there that do that all the time. They just stick their heads out, they help out, and then they say, you don't need to give me a Kennedy Award or nothing like that. Just a good pat on the back. My granddaddy used to say that. He'd say, I don't care if you're 7 years old or 97 years old, a pat on the back always feels good. And that right there is wonderful, beautiful, because it's true. Right? Every single time you've ever gotten a good job from someone, you always, that makes me feel good. I'm worth something. Well, you're worth everything. This world tries to tell you you're not worth anything, that you have to earn everything, but it's not true. They just pile it on you, and then you have to try and escape it all to realize that, you know, it's not the good way. Asked if he got his own moment with Ozzy, he better. Especially if he's talking to Ozzy and Sharon on the phone about this whole thing. Asked if he got his own moment with Ozzy and the rest of Sabbath to say what he wanted to say. Tom, let me ask you, did you get a chance to say everything you wanted to say to the undisputed architects of heavy metal? Yeah, the good, nice news is throughout this process, I've been able to be in communication with Ozzy and with Sabbath guitarist Tony Iommi. And those guys, and it's really pretty mind-blowing. I've never stopped being a fan from day one, and realizing how important Tony Iommi's riffs are. Metal Jackie, must I remind how important Ozzy Osbourne is, and Ozzy's bringing late guitarist Randy Rhoads to the world? I know you're Metal Jackie. You're the jackiest of metal, of all metals. I don't need to remind you of these facts. That was the poster that was on my wall it was the one where we were just picking him up. We've talked about that before. I don't think Randy Rhoads was a fan of Ozzy always picking him up like that. I got to be able to tell them and be able to really do my best. And of course, at the course of the last year plus, I gave everything I had to try to make those shows an important day for them in their hometown, but also an important day for all of the bands and all of the fans who have been touched by their music over the course of, well, more than, let me count the decades, more than 50 years. Asked if he had a favorite moment. This is what I like. You're asking Tom his favorite moments. And please tell us your favorites, Tom. Oh, they were all so great. I couldn't pick one. I'll tell you mine right now. And I did see his name, guys. But I thought of it right when I saw the name. But I'll tell you, Steven Tyler, he still got it. When he walked out there, and I don't even know what song, I can't even remember the song he did. It was an Aerosmith song. But when he got out there, man, it was that entire arena. He commanded it. You watch that performance of Steven Tyler, because he walks straight out, comfortable. A veteran of that stage, and he's just up there. Let the music do the talking. And I was mesmerized at home, and the whole audience was out there just. Asked about his favorite moments, Mr. Tom Morellis at the Back to the Beginning concert said, "Oh, wow. There were a lot. The Steven Tyler Aerosmith moment of doing The Train Keep On A-Rollin', that's with Ronnie Wood of the Rolling Stones, into Walk This Way, into Whole Lotta Love was pretty excellent. And that's in my other one, Youngblood. Youngblood's version of Changes, of course. Shane has great taste in calling these fine performances out. Youngblood's version of Changes was a real showstopper. One of my ideas I had early on was that each of the bands would play at least one Sabbath or Ozzy song. And it was basically like watching 14 of the greatest Sabbath and Ozzy tribute bands of all time play some of my favorite singers and guitar players from players in them. While the day itself, honestly, was a little stressful for me because I was still working throughout the 10-hour day, it was really, really, really pretty fantastic. I'll tell you, for me personally, because I got to play as well. Yeah, but he wasn't... Tom, you really should have busted off some more. You were very professional and not putting any of your essence on any of those songs, except for, I think, one solo you did, where you Morello'd it, but I really felt like you should have done more. They should have known. I'll tell you, if you don't mind. For me personally, because I got to play as well, playing a Judas Priest song with former Priest guitarist KK Downing playing Breaking the Law. And that was pretty good. It looked like... what was the drummer guy from Tool was kind of going, I don't know how that freaking song goes. It's crazy to think of Danny Carey of Tool looking flustered, playing Breaking the Law. Pardon me with the burping and stuff, guys. Should I take it? I mean, I haven't really, mellowed out since I walked 5 miles. You don't mind, do you, if I take a moment to myself in my own podcast? Do you mind? 30 miles so far. I mean, I've been saying on those live streams that my goal is to have ass cheeks that'll crack walnuts by the time, Christmas rolls around. So if any of you guys are having some kind of a family function and you want a bowl of walnuts there, but you don't want those shells on them, these cheeks will crack those wide open. That's what I'm shooting for. Always got Smashing Pumpkins in here. KK Downing and Breaking the Law. We did that one. KK Downing, as well as Adam Jones from Tool. Get the heck out of town. My longtime friend from Libertyville, Illinois. Yes, him and Adam Jones, they go way, way back. They're tight. The three of us grew up on Judas Priest and Black Sabbath. And to be reunited in a stadium a long way from our hometown playing Sabbath and Judas Priest songs, where those songs were made, was pretty mind-blowing. Billboard reported last month that the concert was watched by 40,000 ticket holders and 5.8 million individual online, with each of the above-mentioned charities also raising tens of thousands of pounds in additional donations by raffling off tickets to the show, auctioning off iconic art and band photographs donated by Black Sabbath, and through individual contributions from fans as they streamed it into the concert, which took place at Villa Park in Birmingham, England. There you have that. Uli Jon Roth, I wanted to get into him. I know Uli Jon Roth. I know the legend of him. I know the love for this man. I have heard this man. I'm not as familiar with everything that is Uli Jon Roth, but I am interested in this story because he says most metal for me is a little bit too hardcore, a little bit too distorted, and maybe a bit too dimensional. Two-dimensional. And I find that interesting. Look at him. That's a man, I mean, he doesn't look bad there, right? He's up there in the years. I mean, what is a rocker without a big crucifix on? It is just part of the getup, isn't it? Anytime you have a plunging blouse line, you have any kind of a tank top or a plunging blouse, and you got a big gaping spot there between your breasts, you have to have a big crucifix dangling down there. I mean, nothing else really does look good, does it? What? A football? Or your favorite sport, a tennis racket? What? What are you dangling down here? If it ain't a crucifix. Now someone will say, well, Shane, there's, of course, the exact opposite. There's the inverted cross. But I'm just saying, either or. What else can you put there? A dream catcher? Nothing works there. This guy can rip it up. Look at them freaking knobs. Who's ever seen a guitar like that? Oh my God, he's got a whole strip of knobs down here. What the hell are you playing? What are you tuning with? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then he's got his wham doodle right there, but 8 and 9. Uli, get in the comments and explain all that shenanigans. I got to know what all them knobs do. In a new interview with Andrew McKay Smith of Scars and Guitars. Well, that's the place you have a guitar player. Scars and Guitars podcast. Legend German guitarist Uli Jon Roth spoke about his pioneering role in the neoclassical metal genre. His unique style, incorporating classical technique on 6 exotic scales, and he's inspired numerous guitarists
guitarists, and his time with the Scorpions significantly shaped the band's sound. Uli said, as transcribed by Blabbermouth, I'm not a metal guy. Once when I was in the Scorpions, or we like to call them the Scorps. When you see the kids at the concerts, they say, who are you, when the news person shows up and they say, and who are you here to see, and who's in that building making such racket? And they say, oh, we're here to see the Scorps. And the name heavy metal barely exists. FIFA considered, if you want to classify it, as a melodic hard rock band. So metal, the name, came afterwards. And then it became something which is actually not my cup of tea. Most metal for me is just a little bit too hardcore, a little bit too distorted, and for me, maybe a bit two-dimensional. And what I mean by this is the lack of dynamics.
See, that's what kind of throws me for a loop here in this story is I hear plenty of dynamics in all kinds of different styles of heavy metal. But I am not a legendary guitar player like Uli now, am I? So here he is, and he's going to explain deeper.
I come and thank you, Shane, for giving me this moment. I come from a time like in the 60s when I started, and in the 70s when even loud bands played with a lot of dynamics. And people like Led Zeppelin, Jimi Hendrix, The Cream, they were loud on stage with the amplifiers.
Yeah, this Beatles thing I'm going to show you is just wackadoo. And when I turned it on, they've got Ringo's drum set up backwards. And they literally spin it around before they start playing the first song, and you're like, oh.
The guitars, the drums, everything was dynamical. Now, in heavy metal, that gradually went away, and everything went to 11 all this time.
I don't know if you're listening to the right tunes. What are you just listening to? Deicide? Uli, there's more bands out there than Obituary and Deicide, okay? And the Scorpions. I know you know about them. Probably Deep Purple and all that.
Now, in heavy metal, that gradually went away and everything went to 11. The guitar is constantly hyper-distorted. On every drum beat, fortissimo. And for me, it's
what is fortissimo?
Every drum beat fortissimo. And for me, it's very often more like cacophony.
There's a band, Uli. If you're watching the podcast, there is a band with Marty Friedman, who we spoke of earlier, called Cacophony.
So I'm not a fan. There are some things that are excellent and great. Absolutely. But on the whole, it's not something I like to listen to. It's not my field.
Oh, asked how he feels to know that he and fellow German guitarist Michael Schenker were so hugely influential in shaping heavy metal guitar style that is popular today. Uli said,
I don't really think along these lines. For me, I know that we had a strong influence on particular guitar players. But some people have said, yeah, these two guys are the architects of rock. Which is, I think, an exaggeration.
Well, he's a modest fellow.
Because we were standing on the shoulders of the giants.
No.
Of shoulders of the people. And Michael was listening to maybe Led Zeppelin, Rory Gallagher, Mountain, and I was listening to Eric Clapton, and Hendrix, and some other bands. And that's where we learn our craft. And then, of course, we're like the next generation. We put our own stamps on it. And it was a time of discovery.
He's really going for it with this. See, guys, he knows who Queen and Deep Purple are. They probably toured with him. Uli Jon Roth probably toured with everyone. you know, but he's like,
Oh, is that crabby metal? No, we don't do that, no.
guys, how we holding up on this episode? Are you still rolling along? We're going to read just a tad more of this, and then we're going to get into Eddie Van Halen's guitar. I'm going to show you that Beatles thing without playing it because freaking, you know, the Beatles would go, that guy's over there playing a bit of a concert from 1964 in Washington, D.C. Oh, is he? Well, now we got to take all his money. You know. So, I'm going to show you in pictures, all right? In England,
Und had the Richie Blackmore, so the Deep Purple, then you had the Brian May, and the Queen. In England, slightly later, all these people were pushing it forward in their own way. And most of them were in England. Most of the guitar players, which is very strange.
England? Here's a little off nugget that I found interesting about Yngwie Malmsteen, by the way. Since we're into guitar playing, Uli, if you're watching this, perk your ears up. I saw this little clip where he was talking about, I think it was Rick Beto or whatever his name is. And he says, I heard that when you chip or nick your guitar pick, you instantly throw it away. And he said it's because of the way he picks. But what I found interesting about that was he said it's not sweep picking, where you just go down the strings and back up the strings. That's sweeping. What he does, and then he kind of breaks it down, is he's going, you know what I mean? On each string. So he's going like this up and down it, and he's not just going down like this, like you're brushing, like you're painting a fence. I found that very interesting. It made me go, you know what? I thought Yngwie was a badass before. I think that's even more badass. Now, guitar players will say, well, of course, Shane. But I learned a new thing, okay? I learned a new thing that I didn't know, so I thought I would share it here with you. Now, if you already knew that, that's good for you. I think we'll read this right down to where it says the Beatles, and then we'll get into that Beatles thing. No, we won't. We'll get into Eddie after that. Anyways, you got a Queen, right? I talk about that, and then of the many better well-known Pink Floyd, David Gilmour gets out of town. That guy. David Gilmour write beautiful guitar solos, make a grown man sweep like small child. There was Alan Holdsworth. There was Gary Moore. Of course, he was Irish. There was Hank Marvin, who started it all. And there was the Beatles, George Harrison. Another thing I'll tell you about this Beatles concert that you're not going to watch is the first tune out of the gate is Roll Over Beethoven or something like that. It's like a cover. And they let George Harrison do it, right? And they're screaming. The audience is screaming. They're freaking out and whatnot. But then, as soon as he scoots back, and then the two little cutie patooties get up on the microphone together, and they say, "This is all never love another," or whatever. Just high-pitched howling. And what's great about watching that concert too, which you got to go watch it. It's only 30 or something minutes long. Is the fans out there are looking at them with like they are food. I mean, it is unbelievable the way they're just staring. There's one lady, blonde lady, and she's just standing there going, like she can't even hardly contain herself. That she's. I think we're done here. George Harrison, amazing,
very amazing what he did on the electric guitar and the sitar too. Not so little people talk about George Harrison and his sitar.
And I probably forgot a few. Yeah, you did, bud, but that's all right. You're old enough that you can start forgetting names and stuff. That's a lot of I've never seen a guitar like that. And someone's going to say, Shane, that's the Uli Jon Roth. That's the only guitar he's played for the last 70 years. And I'm going to go, damn. Speaking of guitars, right there, baby. If that doesn't say 1984 on it, I don't know what does. Sorry, 1982 on it. I don't know what does. But, and you can see the word fetch there. That means this. That's fetching. Look at that guitar, and maybe they'll say who it's signed by. Maybe it'll be Tom Morello or something. But let's get into it. Eddie Van Halen's 1982 Kramer guitar, expected to fetch between $2 million and $3 million at Sotheby's auction. That's the big one. Whenever you got something worth selling, you take it to Sotheby's. And that's what I've heard. According to Rolling Stone magazine, Eddie Van Halen's 1982 Kramer electric guitar will be auctioned at Sotheby's in New York City. That's where Lars Ulrich sold all of his paintings. And he sat up there in the balcony and was drinking all that wine, and they kept going, do we have $2.5 million, 2.6, and with 2.8 million, $3 million, and he's just amazing. Absolutely amazing. The guitar, which was played by the legendary Van Halen Axeman in 1982 and 83, is expected to fetch between $2 million and $3 million during Sotheby's inaugural Grails Week for October 21 and October 28. If you got some change in your pockets, my friends, and you don't want to buy that guitar, you can put it in my PayPal. But if you got the kind of green beans, boy, oh boy. To look at that in your living room every night before you go into your bedroom with your wife or your lover, but you get to look at that on your living room wall, probably encased in glass. You want to keep it nice, but you and your lover, you go into the bedroom after that and you shut the door. You're having a great life, buddy. You're having a great life. Eddie later gifted the guitar to his longtime guitar tech, Robin Rudy. Robin Rudy. He's going to make a mint here. Unless he got rid of it. Let's see. Robin Rudy Liren, the guitar, sport, and inscription to Liren, who sold it to then Motley Crue guitarist Mick Mars. Mars used it during the recording of his band's Dr. Feelgood album. I'm telling you, man, the heavy metal news nuggets just keep coming, don't they? I bet you he was whammying off. What's that tune? He is playing that song on that guitar. Mars used it during the recording of his band's Dr. Feelgood album, including on the song Slice of Your Pie. The guitarist's current owner is not known, so Mick Mars sold it again. Wouldn't it be interesting to find out how much Mick Mars sold it for? I mean, if it sells for $3 million, but Mick Mars sold it for $3.5 million to someone, couldn't he just say, do a little blabbermouth going, I got more money. I got more money for it. This guitar was played on tour by Eddie Van Halen in 1982 and 1983 at concerts in the United States and South America with photo documentation including shows in Philadelphia, Caracas, Venezuela, Sao Paulo, Brazil, and Buenos Aires, Argentina. The original Frankenstein guitar, that's in quotes, was from 1975, which this guitar is based upon, represented Eddie Van Halen's goal of combining some of the best elements of Fender and Gibson electric guitars into a single new musical instrument that was not commercially available at the time. Van Halen was endlessly striving to create the ultimate guitar for tone, playability, and dependability. This Kramer guitar personifies not only EVH's innovative playing style, but also his passion for design and engineering. When he wasn't thinking about sweet licks, he was thinking about engineering. sitting over there on the couch, gazing off. He just says, then his brother said, "Hey, Eddie, what are you thinking about, Eddie?" You say, "Engineering." If I ain't thinking about guitars, I'm thinking about engineering. The lot also includes the factory Kramer case and letter of authenticity from Mr. Feelgood himself, Mr. Mars, where he states, "Hope you enjoy it as much as I did. Also, it's a great piece of history." Back in April 2023, another guitar owned by Eddie Van... Oh, what'd you do that? Eddie Van Halen? Come on. Besmirching the name of a guitar legend like that? Eddie Van Halen, that one he used in Van Halen's Hot for Teacher music video, was sold for $3,932,000. Can you believe it? The Hot for Teacher guitar. We're not getting into it. We know he passed away. He's right here. He's chilling out with me. He's loving it. He's laughing. He's having a great time. This Beatles thing, guys. First, what you need to know, what you can see here is, okay, so here's what you can see is this. There's a lot of people on this stage that don't need to be up there. This guy and this guy and this guy and this guy and this guy. There's too many cooks in the kitchen. But the first thing you're noticing here is that I can't make him out, but I think that's John Lennon, and he's at his microphone. But you got Ringo facing the wrong way, right? I can't play any of this, guys, because... Okay, you see this? So they're all on the other side. And again, this here is, don't need to be there, don't need to be there, don't need to be there. This guy's going to get on the tutor, on the microphone and go, "We have a treat for you." Yeah, they're already on the stage, buddy. There's no need for you to do that. I'd rather hear the Beatles do it. And look at this. This thing that he's got his drums set up on is just rickety. Every time he moves, that whole drum set jiggles and vibrates. But I'm like, wait a minute, the drums are backwards. And then they just, see, he's like, "Oh, wait a minute, guys." See, because you can see George Harrison's, Paul and all of them. There's Paul, and there's George, and there's John. And Ringo's telling him, "Hey, guys, I got me drums backwards." Right? Come on. And then he's like, "Can I show ya?" I mean, I wish I could play this, guys, but he says, "Oh, we're getting ready to go now." Man, if they ding this, guys, you're not going to hear any of this, all right? Now, that was John saying, "You got to turn his drums around. His drums are facing the wrong way." Okay. Now watch this. Come on. They'll hit you with a copyright for this. Look. Oh, there we go. And I'm just thinking to myself, this whole damn thing is rickety. This whole you're watching this and the speakers don't work. One guy is louder than the other. It's literally, I mean, I understand that it's 1964. I mean, but it's just, it's like, it's the Beatles. They're in the Washington, D.C. Coliseum, 1964, February 11th. Another thing I'll tell you about this, and we're just going to snap a couple photos. You'll love it. You love the Beatles. But, what was I going to say? See, there they are. They're in action. Oh, another thing I was going to say is Ringo kicks ass. I almost feel like he, when people say, "Oh, he's not a good drummer" or whatever, I saw a later clip in the 80s or something where he was with Elton John, where he was playing real weird, and I was like, yeah, This guy in 1964 is shredding. Go. And then I finally realized he's oh, baby, singing the blues, singing the blues. Then the other thing that I realized was that they're surrounded, right? It's the whole Coliseum. So they have his drums on a swivel so they can just turn the drums and face the other way. But the problem with that is now all of a sudden, okay, you see how they're all in front of the amps? When they turn the drum set around, now they all walk around and bring the mic stands to the other side, and now the amps are facing the other way, so they can't hear a damn thing they're doing. Look at this. Okay, they're still doing it this way, so let's go. You see this? Look at this. That's the three of them. Right there around the microphone. Oh, my loving girl, tell it true. But now their amps are backwards. How you hearing anything? And they're playing live. I'm telling you, if that's enough to get this whole damn 2-hour thing dinged, I'm telling you. We're getting into your comments. I'm sorry, this is convoluted. It's all out of whack this time. We're sure to get a Razzie. We're happy about that. We're going to get into your comments right here, right now. I'm still good on the... I'm drained of all waters because I literally sweat 5 miles of walking. Oh, my lovin' girl, you know it's true. Oh, my lovin'. Time for your comments. It looks like it's a light load here. We got 4 of you, and so we're going to get to it, and we're going to get on out of here, and you're going to get on with your bad self. I have a piece of homework for you, okay? And this is exactly what I want you to do. Tomorrow when you wake up in the morning, or better yet, Monday or whenever you've got to go back to work, what I want you to do is tell yourself before you go to bed, I'm going to play the game. I'm in a video game, right? So when you wake up the next morning, what I want you to try and do all day long is I want you to pretend that you are in a video game, right? Everyone around you is also in the video game. They're just not aware of the fact that they are indeed in a video game, okay? And what I want you to do is base all of your decisions that day on a positive note, right? So as you're playing this video game, what's a video game if you don't have distractions and problems and issues and things to fear and all of these things throughout the time, right? That's where you are playing the video game, is when you decide that when the guy goes, hey, fuck you, buddy, that you just go, sorry. That's it. When you're playing this video game, if you choose the more positive direction, you will watch yourself move through the course of this video game each and every day into a better position. But the more you chew up all of the negativities that this video game wants to feed you, billboards, the news, movies, just anything and everything that's just horrifying to yourself. And I'm not talking about horror movies. A lot of people love horror movies because they give you that thrill of excitement. I'm talking about true negativities. As you're playing this video game, if you choose to not let those affect you, and that nervous system is right here, and you just go throughout your game and you're not judging people or anything, you're just living it, that vibration will start to spread out to the other people around you in that video game, right? So try that out. It works. Stay away from judgment. I've talked before about this lady at work that I blamed the world on her, just in my head. I was always just going, she didn't do this and do that and do that and do that. And then the day that I said, you know what? Free rent in my head. I'm not going to do this anymore, is when everything started to turn around. Because when you just free yourself of any judgment anywhere on anyone and how they are or what they're doing, and you're just going through the video game and you're in the moment playing the game and you're loving the people you love and you are just veering away from the people that you don't, instead of arguing or anything else, you just kind of choose not to communicate too deeply. How are you? Oh, good to see you. And bye-bye. Try that out and see how that works for you. One day, walk through the day as you're in a video game. So every bizarre circumstance you're now looking at, you go to work and they say, God, someone clogged the toilet in there. Everything that you're seeing is now like, this is a scenario, and I can choose how I interact with it. All right, let's get into your comments. That's right, I think we got 4 of you here. So we're going to wrap this up in a fine fashion. This is my favorite part, is where you guys give me feedback from the last episode so I get better and you tell me what you think of the stories. Johnny B coming in here. It's a very succinct and short thing. I was worried about that because I didn't know if there was an issue. But Johnny B says, hope everyone is having a great week and even better weekend. See you all next week. Stay healthy, stay vigilant, and keep looking up. Much love to all. Fantastic. You know, the more positivity you even if it's like unbearable, that's what you do. You know, there's those people that are going to go, oh, why are you having such a good day? And that's them. That's their insides. That's their issue. They have an issue with you having a wonderful day and a wonderful life. That's something that they have to go in and say, why do I get so worked up when I see that person having a good time? Miss Althea, the fantastic Miss Althea coming in. Of course, we did the Gazette. Tuguru. And it still says that it's partially blocked on my page in there, but you guys have seen that video, some of you. And I think we got some more coming up, Miss Althea, if I remember right. I can't remember. The Dumbstruck Fool says, welcome back. Diablo 2.0 is ready to rumble. And so is your son's band, apparently. Yeah. Good news on that front is, they says, Dad, I think we found a singer. I mean, they really hit the jackpot with this guy. They're like, he's a good singer. He plays guitar and rips on the guitar, and he has his own PA system. That was the whole enchilada. If you've ever played in a rock band, you know. The dude that had the PA system was in. And then, so what? So to get back to Miss Althea's thought here is that he came in and told me, because when they said the PA, I was like, you don't want to be out in that garage with a PA, because that's too big to pack up every night for you guys. And, well, he comes in the room and says, dude with the great voice, the PA, and the thing says, I've also got a place we can practice, so they're going to be moving it out of there. As I record this, they might be doing a practice today, but I don't think there'll be too many more down the road. Miss Althea on Paul Stanley and Kiss tribute bands. I thought he looked like the wife of a mafia boss in the photo with the piece. Well, yeah. What was her name? Tony Soprano's wife, a little bit. I found it interesting that Kiss tribute bands have been happening for decades, and the band has seemingly said nothing about any of it until now. And that's true, isn't it? Because right out of the gate, there would have been in the 80s. I mean, I was on what do they call them, Hot Wheel? Remember the 3-wheel little racer you'd race around the neighborhood in? I was racing around the neighborhood with Peter Criss makeup on. I ruined all of my mother's pencils. But that was the one design. I said, I know I can pull that off. I can't do the Ace makeup, but I can put some freaking lines on my face like that. When they claim to be done, and when tribute bands are probably more in demand, isn't that convenient? I have been saying for years that I would rather patronize a well-executed tribute band instead of the real band. At least in the incarnation that existed at the end. Yeah. And what the hell is he talking about with none of them have a good Paul, question mark? Billy May of Kiss Nation is one of the best Pauls out there. Now, I don't know him. Miss Althea, please, I don't know him. And they happen to be one of the tributes with Paul and Gene's Blessing. That's all I have to say about that. All right, Paul. Well, Mr. Stanley, if you're watching this right now, you need to retort to this. First, you need to speak upon Miss Althea saying that you look like an Italian mob boss's wife. And then you need to talk about how, Billy May is a Kiss-endorsed Paul. And you're saying he's not? Is that a cut to Billy May? Is that what you're trying to say, Mr. Stanley? Please get in the comments and rectify that, please. You got all the time in the world now. There's no more Kiss cruises, nothing like that. You got plenty of time. Get in the comments. It's Metallica, bitch. As Miss Althea says, is there anyone not doing a residency in Vegas at this point? And just because of the nature of the location, it is difficult not to envision them having some very elaborate production with showgirls or some other type of choreography thing with every song. Yep. I am more interested in the possibility of them doing the Super Bowl halftime show next year, 2026. Really? I would love to see that happen because I actually know who the fuck they are. I swear, I had never heard of Kendrick Lamar until the ding, 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 ding. And the last sup in the last, I thought she was going to say the Last Supper. You didn't know who Kendrick Lamar until the last Super Bowl. I would actually be compelled to pay attention to the part of the event instead of going into the kitchen to wash dishes for the first time in I don't know how long. That's kind of a go-to, isn't it? I haven't turned on a Super Bowl. I've never been a sports fan of any kind. Although, you want to know what I'm totally into right now on TikTok Live besides myself? Marble racing. This guy called Marvelous Marble Racing. And it is exactly what you think it is. This guy has created this elaborate track. And he's got marbles. Is it going to be Volcano? Is it going to be Bee? Is it going to be Neptune? Will it be Venom? All of these. And he, opens the gate. They race down the track. And you're going, come on, Venom. Come on, Venom. And they all come in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 place. And they all meet down at the bottom. And then he removes one. So you keep hoping for your... And it is just hours of fun. I gotta say. I don't watch it for hours, but I'm saying I could easily watch it for hours. So we're saying yes to Metallica at the Super Bowl. Japan, Miss Althea on Japan virtual tour. I will definitely check out the video you recommended of, that band, Shinjuku region. Oh, she's talking about, from a episode back or so, I was talking about this wonderful Tokyo stroll that this guy does. And it's very peaceful, and it's through Tokyo, the red light district. Something like that. I know that most red light districts, means kinky town, right? Like in San Francisco when I was there. We were in the red light district. I was like, I've never seen more kinky shit in my life. I've never seen more in my life. And I'm just loving it. I even went into one of those places. I didn't even know that was a real thing where you put the coins in and like in a booth. I didn't even think that was real. Where you put the coins in and then the slide comes up. And San Francisco had all that going on. Then I left almost immediately when I could see people in the other rooms. The thing opens up, but it's circular. So there's other little cubicles that open up. So then I started getting ideas about what you're supposed to do in there. And then I had a pretty good idea that a couple of them that I could see through the around in the background. So I said, yeah, I got to get out of here. So, sorry, Miss Althea, that was disgusting. The virtual tour of Japan. I will definitely check out the video you recommended in Shinjuku region. There is a story that in 2008, the Gazette did a secret pop-up show at the railway station there, but it had to be shut down after 10 minutes and 2 songs because over 7,000 fans showed up, which caused quite the hazard. You get them over there, and then it's like, businessmen are missing the train. They got to go make the deal. The return of Vince Neil, and that is a news story we won't be speaking upon. But as we skimmed through that concert, I seemed, I'm not a physician in any way. But what I'm saying is, as we skimmed through his 40-minute concert there last week at the very end of the episode, I felt like he was in good health. I mean, he was just as good as he was at the stadium tour or any other gig that we've ever checked in on. But another piece of news that's happening right now that I will not feature on this channel this time, but is people are speaking on that, in fact, concert that we watched where they said he's not in good health. And I was like, the return of Vince Neil, Miss Althea says, no disrespect, seriously, but yawn. Sorry, Vince, but I am over it. I appreciate Dana Strum and the heavy metal Keith Urban. Yeah, he is, isn't he? Jeff Blando. I couldn't remember his name. Zoltan, too, for cranking it out as super hard as they all do. That is a pretty solid band. Miss Althea on the Diablo community. Continued love and support to Don Tone and Mike B as they continue on their journey of healing. I am happy to announce that Den's last scans and related follow-ups with doctors were all clean. This Den is clean. Just like Rubenstein, what was her name? From Poltergeist. This house is clean. Dan, congratulations, and we knew it all along, didn't we? Positivity and good vibration will get you everywhere in this life. With the follow-ups with doctors, he is all clean, and after 4 long months, he is finally free. Thank you to all for the support along the way. The smallest and kindest of words were invaluable. I would also advise everyone to know the signs of infection. That's good. Following any kind of medical procedure or surgery, and take it all very seriously. Trust me, y'all. This is shit you do not want to fuck around with, okay? Oh, and thank God, my employer, really, for excellent medical health insurance. Okay. Oh, and thank God, my employer, really good health insurance. There you go. Keeping it bitchy. Miss Althea, thank you. Yeah, infections are something else. You want to make sure that if you're having, it's take care of things. If you need to take care of them, take care of them. Start working towards a better you. Rebel Metal coming in here, and then indeed we'll end it off with Mike Buchanan. This might be the first time in a long time where he's the final chapter. And, by the way, he was in the old TikTok live the other day, and I appreciate him for that. Now, I'm not saying you all have to be in there, because you don't even have to be in here if you don't want to. I don't want any of this to become a job or a duty to you. But it was appreciated. It's weird the way that TikTok live thing works, too, because it's like, you got 5 people. You got 185 people. And then it just whittles down. And they go, you got 195 people, whittled down to 20. I see all those other ones on there, and they got a steady flow. It's like 100, 200 people in there. Anywho, let's get into Rebel Metal. This is not Mike Buchanan's time. This is Rebel Metal's time. I can't remember what we did for you, buddy. We did a video just a week or two ago. No, now this might get him a thumb. Nothing says Saturday morning in Nothing says Saturday morning in South Mississippi like a Jive Talkin with Shane. Thanks for bringing metal news to us down here in the deep South. And you are very welcome, my friend. Very welcome indeed. Let's tell Mom, Dad, let's tell everybody about it. Go down there to your favorite barbecue place and say, well, I just, I'm sitting here. I'm enjoying my delicious ribs. But now I have to tell you about a podcast. And then you tell them about my podcast, and that's how that works. Mike Buchanan coming in here, and he's got his movies that are bad and all that. So let's do it, and let's do it here now. I am back, and and he was away. He's had a rough time too. But we're getting through all that. These rough times. We're slowly moving our way away from them. I am back, and I want to thank I want to thank everyone that reached out to me. I'm hanging in there and healing. And how do I heal? Well, with movies that are bad, but we love them anyways. Monster Island 2024. I had totally different movie review all ready to go, but this movie popped up on me last night on Shudder. I used to have Shudder. Used to watch old Billy Bob Briggs. What's his name? Briggs. It's pretty good. Billy Bob Briggs. And it's about to close, and it's about as close to Creature from the Black Lagoon as you can get. Creature feature smorgasbord. Oh, Monster Island. The cinematic equivalent of a gas station hot dog that's been rolling under the heat lamp for 6 hours. It's not good for you. It's not really food. But you're drawn to it anyway because sometimes you just want to taste chaos. This movie is a glorious buffet of B-movie nonsense, rubbery monsters that look like they were ordered off of Wish, CGI that less computer-generated imagery, CGI that's less computer-generated imagery, and more PowerPoint clip art with a vengeance. Wow. And dialogue that feels like it was generated by a drunk parrot that once overheard a sci-fi channel script meeting. The plot? ? Oh, it's technically there. A team of very good-looking people with wildly impractical outfits get stranded on an island swarming with budget-conscious monsters. There's an evil scheme, a half-baked romance subplot, a villain whose motivation makes about as much sense as putting mayonnaise in a toaster, and the creatures. They attack with all the menace of an inflatable Halloween decoration in a light breeze, yet somehow I couldn't look away. This sounds great. The joy of Monster Island is that it is trying to be epic but keeps tripping over its own shoelaces. Every explosion is 5 seconds too long. Every fight scene feels choreographed by someone who learned martial arts from a cereal box. And every dramatic moment is followed by a line delivery so bad it circles back to being brilliant. Now, I'm getting choppy because I'm thinking about something completely different as I'm reading. And you got to watch this because it is so bad. It is called Banded. It is on Tubi. It is 1 season. It is a competition show where they have found 25 of the hottest musicians, drummers, bassists, guitarists, singers across the country. And they have put them in groups to create bands. And each week they have to come up with a song. They don't know each other or anything. And they pick the best song of the week. And they do that for 6 weeks or something. The editing on this thing, we're getting back to the movie, but the editing is so bad. And some of those people, you're like, oh, you're not very good. And then you kind of surprised. They put them in groups of 5 or whatever. So there's 5 groups, 25 people, 5 groups, each made up of different, you got a punk guy over here, and you got that, there's always one of them, wears the hat, and he's got the green army jacket on, and he's a lone man with a guitar. And he's, well, I just sit down, and wherever I may roam, I just sit down with my guitar and I say, Delilah, you kill me tonight. Really, really hitchhiker type, Just all kinds of people. So I wanted to spit that out right here. So you go watch that. Tubi, free channel on the smart TV, and it's called Branded. Banded. Banded. Get ready for a wonky good time. The joy of the Monster Island is that it's trying to be epic but keeps it over its shoelaces. Every explosion is 5 seconds long. Every scene feels choreographed by someone who learned martial arts from a cereal box, and every dramatic moment is followed by a line delivery so bad it circles back to being brilliant. Another thing about that Banded show, real quick. Sorry, Mike. Is they'll say, all right, let's take a look at the drummers. And then they just put them up there on stage and give them like 2 minutes. And you can see where they're trying to be good. This goes for every instrument, but it looks so peculiar the way they just rock out. And they're like, well, just, okay. And then they go, all right, that's good enough, get out. If you're a lover of bad movies, Monster Island isn't just a film. It's a warm hug from the bottom shelf of the DVD bargain bin. It's comfort trash. It's the kind of disaster you invite friends over to watch, armed with pizza, cheap beer, and running commentary that becomes funnier than the movie itself. I love that. In short, Monster Island isn't good, but it's good for the soul. Final rating, 4 out of 5 rubber monsters. So bad, it's my new favorite vacation spot. Grab your favorite beverage, sit in your favorite chair, pop some popcorn, and press play. Oh, and he's going to say it right here, guys. You must have done an edit. Because he's going to talk about me on the TikTok. And I don't know what to do on there, and I'm really trying to stay the hell away from it. I mean, as far as just looking at it all the time. But I love that live because I'll tell you what, man. 5 miles has gone like that. It's the easiest. I've never done 5 miles until I started doing those lives because it's like the foot to the fire. There's got to be somebody in there saying something rotten, rude, or very nice, and it just keeps you going. One of these days we'll get to a place where everyone says wonderful things. It's encouragement. It's about frequency. And when you and when people positively interact with you, both frequencies rise from it, and it feels great. But when you're angry and judgmental, you can't not help but just get in there and say, well, you're ugly. You know, it's low level, cave level, brainwaves going on there. But the good news is it can simply be changed, and it can be simply changed overnight. You just say, I don't want to be that person anymore, and then you strive to be a better person to other people. Mike Buchanan. Oh, wait, we got to see what he says about me. I caught Shane on TikTok live the other day. I suggest everyone, pardon me, catch Shane on live TikTok. It's a ton of fun. What I'm basically doing, I'm dancing, I'm treadmilling, I'm talking about the music, the whatever song is shuffled on and playing. I'm hoping for feedback. Most of the time it's kind of silent, with the occasional rotten comment, in there, just something really rotten and rude. And so I'm trying to get it to be like a funner place to be. But let's get into it. You should go see it. It's a ton of fun. All right. Now, Mike Buchanan on Paul Stanley. I think sometime in my life, I will attend a Kiss tribute band concert. We had one in town last month, Mr. Speed, but I couldn't make it. They performed the entire Kiss Alive album. Kind of bummed about that. Being a Kiss fan since like 82, when a friend of mine came to school with one of the albums for show and tell. Remember show and tell? Oh, yeah. This kid gave me a Kiss book. And he's like, his name was Jason. And he said, yeah, man, you can have it. He's a cool little guy. And I said, ah, gee whiz. It had pictures in it, you know. It was about that. It was like a early biography or something, paperback. But it had a cool picture of Kiss and their makeup on it. He says, oh, you like that book? I said, well, gee whiz, I sure do. He says, you can have that. I said, I don't know, Jason. I don't know if me mother would. I don't think she'll let me have it. He says, no, you go ahead and take the book. I said, thank you, Jason. It was a really wonderful thing for him to do. They performed the entire Kiss Alive album, 1982. Sorry, Mike, I've got to stop doing everything I do. Kind of bummed out about that, being a Kiss fan, 82. A friend of mine came to school with the show and tell, and I put the cursor right there. You saw me do that, didn't you? It's right there. And I put it right there, and then I lost my spot. Don't know which one it was anymore. Dude, I so want to go see The Wizard of Oz at the Las Vegas Sphere. Now that would be something. I have a friend who's been there, said it's spectacular. I mean, yeah, wouldn't you? Or Pink Floyd, I feel like something like that. Cosmic, or, I mean, you might, you know, if you're sitting in there and you're halfway through a Pink Floyd concert, you just guts are queasing, aren't you? You're just like, oh, shit, I just had 3 of them sphere dogs, you know. And you're just... Mike Buchanan on Metallica. I suppose it would be a breath of fresh air to not have to go tour different cities around the world for a little while. I've no doubt they would sell out every night. They would sell out every night, and it would be 6 months at the Las Vegas Sphere. They'd say, well, extended engagement, Metallica indeed. We had to shelf Elton John because Metallica wants to do 3 more months. So sorry. Mike Buchanan on Ozzy and Sharon. If that movie, he's talking about the romance movie that they're making on Hallmark Channel about Ozzy and Sharon. It says, if that movie is like the Osbournes TV show, count me in. Other than that, not interested. Yes, Shane, obviously I still watch TV, movies, and the occasional Diablo podcast. Otherwise, how could I have movies that are bad but we love them anyway segment? And I watched 2 doozies this week. I have no life. Kids aren't doing anything right now. That will all start up come September. Yep. Man, it is nice, though, that the kid's out. You know, my kid, he's often doing it. My kid's humming right along now. And it really is like breaking a curse. You know what I mean? You got to claw your way out. So it's nice to see your children get out there and have, you know, doing what they love to do. That is the key. They got to do what they love to do. Mike Buchanan says, I saw Vince Neil several years ago from the front row, too. Same drummer. That guy was nuts. Old Zoltan. Was it Zoltan Chaney? Something like that. I mean, he is just a freak of nature. He sets himself apart. Now, could he play Meshuggah? Probably not. But if you want frills, he's the most frilly of them all. And now, ending off this episode, it is Mike Buchanan's Jive Talkin jokes of the week. I was going to say jokes that are funny but we like them anyways. I hit Shane with this one on his live. Oh yes. What kind of fish is the most sarcastic? The great white snark. That just makes me, that tickles me in some way that I don't know. What kind of fish is the most sarcastic? That's great. Do you think that if you gathered 50 toddlers in one bouncy castle and played Baby Shark, a mosh pit would happen? It's happening already, man, and your ears are burned. 50 toddlers in a bouncy house. Could you just imagine the crying? Just wellowing down the street. They're stepping on everyone's fingers, tootsies and toes. Every one of them damn kids are just pulling each other's hair out and all sorts of shit. Last night I had a dream the ocean was filled with orange soda. It was a fantasy. The guy who invented throat lozenges died last week. There was no coffin at the funeral. That is good. That's good. And finally, I tried to sue the airline for losing my luggage. I did. I lost my case. I'll see myself out. Well done, well done. Well, we did it. It's another episode. It's another truly, some kind of award-winning episode in some way. Somewhere down the road, sometime, some other different timeline. Of course, timelines change with every second, every millisecond. Every choice you make in life is changing your trajectory on a timeline. It is changing where you're going to be in a year's time. And if you focus on yourself and inside, and you make yourself stronger and healthier and better and wiser and more wisdoms in there, you're on the right track. I'm going to get out of here. I thank you so much, and we will see you for episode 193, I believe. The picking at the nose, I notice I do that quite a bit, and it's because I've got hair growing out of my nose, and I got the tweezers and stuff, but I saw this little comb on TikTok, and I don't want to buy anything from TikTok. But I thought about that comb because you just stick it in there and you twist and turn it. And it's one of those things that you have to deal with when you get up there in your ages. There's certain physical things that happen to the human body, human being, that just kind of, it just happens. And that is one of them. Also, an ear, a hair in the ear. So you see this from me. That means hair problems. And maybe other problems, for all I know. I'm sure somebody with a big brain will say, oh no, there's more problems than just hair. Whatever. I just want to rock, man. I just want to rock. Come on, baby. You take care of yourselves out there. Got a little whacked with another episode of a great little podcast. Shane Jive Talkin little podcast. You got another little bit of podcast. You got a little heavy metal news now. Heavy metal news for your ears, my friend. Heavy metal news and it never ends. I come in real hot and I give you the news and then I get on out and you don't know the blues. Could you go on and you have a good day? You say, yay, I can't believe it. For another episode of Shane. Wonderful podcast. Wait, next week it's a coming, it's a coming, it's a coming, baby, baby, don't worry, it's a coming, it's a coming, it's a coming, it's a coming. Just hold on tight, breathe tight, have a good day, it'll be alright. It's coming again, it's a Jive Talkin Shane, Jive Talkin Shane, Here we go, driving insane with the Jive Talkin.